Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It is in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing on this watch. Every year, Omega launches a small number of super exotic precious metal timepieces that often feature commensurately exotic details such as enamel, platinum dials, even stitching on threads that is laced with platinum. And we have all of that today with this 2015 Baselworld launch, 352 pieces in platinum. This is the Omega Constellation Globemaster from the inaugural year of the Globemaster, itself a reborn pi-pan dial constellation. This was the flagship of the line with a last listed price by Omega of $43,900. This is a full-blown Patek Philippe Vacheron, even independent brand alternative that comes from a large and reliable watchmaker with an incredible history. So, 39 millimeters in diameter in platinum. This watch is 13.3 millimeters thick and actually delightfully compact at 46.7 millimeters lug to lug with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Throw it on the wrist. You can see it wears nicely. Relatively short. If we look down the barrel, you can see the lugs come nowhere near the edge of my wrist. And I think on the strap, which is fairly stiff, you could wear this watch on a 14 centimeter circumference wrist. I think if you were to put it on a more flexible strap, you'd be able to wear it on a 13.5 centimeter circumference wrist. Again, over the top, look on each side. You can see the lugs are nowhere near the edge of my wrist. And it is flat enough that it would fit underneath a dress cuff. Make no mistake, it can be used as a sports watch. Here's where things start to get crazy. Okay, alligator leather strap, large rectangular scale, matte finish, medium blue. Very nice, but standard on a Constellation Globemaster. Taking a look in profile, we have a folded edge, and on the underside, you start to think, this is a little bit different for Omega. We have alligator on both sides, small round scale on the bottom, large rectangular on the top. This is like a de Bethune or L.U. Chopard or F.P. Journe strap, but wait, it goes even further. Remember I mentioned platinum laced stitching? That's exactly what you have right here. That is real metallic platinum used to stitch up the strap. And you can see the strap is in outstanding condition. No crimping, no gouging. A platinum clasp, nothing less would do, of course. Polish and satin externally, twin trigger release, so it only opens when you press both triggers. You can see there's engine turning inside the clasp body. And then we have a system where you actually thread the strap through, close it all up, it shuts, it clicks, it's closed, it's secure until you press both triggers, and then there's no need for minder loops or extraneous strap length, so there's no extra strap length flapping in the breeze. It's super clean, it's all hidden under the strap body. Now when I say a less stiff strap would allow this to fit better on a small wrist. See how I can't pull the strap vertically out of the lugs? It wants to fight and flare a little bit. That's because it is so close coupled to the case. And while it creates a very nice integrated look, there is some impediment to its motion. I recommend that if you have that tiny 13.5 centimeter circumference wrist, but you want to wear this, buy it. Take this beautiful platinum laced strap with its double gaiter off the watch, put it on a more flexible strap. Save this strap, wear it on a flexible strap, enjoy it on a small wrist. Now, the Constellation Globemaster exists alongside the so-called Manhattan or Griffin Claw. This is one that's really more for the purist who loved the Connies of the 50s and 60s, and less so the post-1982 Griffin Claw design. So we wind up with a case that's somewhere between round and a tonneau, and it has a combination of satin and polished accents, then a fluted bezel, which on a conventional steel Globemaster would be tungsten, but here once again it is in platinum. Full disclosure, pre-owned watch, there are some marks right here. And I always want you guys to know exactly what you're getting. But when the watch is being priced half of its original 43 plus, you're getting a great deal. Omega, in the end, could always laser weld or replace that bezel. If you absolutely wanted it replaced, it could be done. Now we have a crown here that, although clearly not a screw down, and I want to demonstrate that, it is nevertheless able to embrace a 100-meter water resistance rating. It's Omega branded, and then we have a dial that includes white gold hands, logo, marquee, and indices, on top of which fired blue enamel has been deposited. which sits on top of a solid platinum media blasted pie pan dial. It's called a pie pan because of this faceting. That first bowed on the original 1952 Omega Constellation, and it became a long-running signature of the flagship collection. Now, because these elements on the dial are white gold on platinum, none of this will tarnish, oxidize, or change color with time. And of course, that media blasted platinum dial look is something that we once loved on the Rolex Steel and Platinum Yachtmaster. Now, we have a couple of subsidiary setting modes. You saw one a moment ago. I'm able to move the hour hand independently, and you can see how I can travel, and I can move that hour hand without displacing the minutes or stopping the seconds hand. I do have a hacking seconds function. Take note, this is a no-date watch, making it a little bit different from the other offerings and giving it a cleaner, more symmetrical dial. You can also see the vintage Globemaster script here has been printed in blue, and when we flip it all over, we are reminded, by the way, let me show you just that again. That's stop seconds. This is the time zone function for travelers. We have this observatory on the reverse side, so the disc on which this is enameled is solid white gold. You can see it says white gold, and it is. It's also enameled with a lovely fumé fade. The original Constellation of the 50s was an observatory chronometer in the pre-COSC era. Observatories and Bureau Officiel were often responsible for chronometer certifications, and observatory was the highest grade. So this is here to remind you that the Connie was originally that kind of chronometer. Today, it is a master chronometer. And of course, we still have the observatory star on the front. So here we have a bidirectional winder. This is the 8913. And of course, this version has a solid gold rotor and a solid 18-karat rose gold balance bridge. So solid all the way through, not gilded, not plated. Twin barrels, automatic winding, 60-hour power reserve. We have a beat rate of 25,200 vibrations per hour, which is universal across the Swatch Group watches that use silicon hairsprings. Regardless of price or brand, it's going to be 25.2. That's the oscillation rate for silicon. This watch is effectively amagnetic with an anti-magnetic balance, hairspring, balance staff, and escapement. So it's anti-magnetic to over 15,000 Gauss. That is beyond 15,000. Now it has the George Daniels coaxial escapement in its latest 3-level configuration. It is a sliding friction, well, I should say it's a tangential sliding friction rather than a conventional sliding friction escapement. So unlike a Swiss lever, there's less friction involved. And this tangential sliding friction is applied via direct and indirect impulse. So it's a direct and indirect double impulse tangential contact system. Reducing friction means improving chronometry, that's timing precision, power reserve, and reducing maintenance requirements. Also, because this is a free-sprung balance with a full balance bridge, it's more shock tolerant. And because it has 2 mainspring barrels that are in series and phased, it doesn't swell in its amplitude when fully wound and run fast, nor does it start losing a lot of time after 18, 24, 36, 48 hours, the way a single barrel movement, even a single barrel movement with the same power reserve would. We have these arabesque spiral Côte de Genève in both blackened and polished screws. All this pivots on 38 joules. It is a genuine wonder, and it is a master chronometer, which means not only the chronometry, not only the anti-magnetism, but this is tested in 6 positions. The movement meets the COSC standards, but as a fully cased watch in 6 positions, this watch is timed for precision, tested for shock, water, and magnetic resistance. It's tested for winding efficiency and power reserve. Master chronometer is a test, a comprehensive test of the fully assembled watch as you receive it. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this extraordinary modern Omega rarity.